What's going on, guys? It's Landon from Shoewear, and today we are taking a closer look at the newly released Nike Paul George or PG5 model. So before we dive into the shoe itself, let's go ahead and hit on the box and the price. So for the box, these do come in a gray box with some sort of design on it. I'm not really sure what it is. And if you see Paul George's logo with sort of like a dotted pattern, and this pattern actually also shows up on the tongue as well. But for pricing, the PG5 stayed the same as the PG4 signature shoe at $110. So as far as basketball shoes go, these definitely fall on the more affordable side of the scale, and that's always nice to see. But now that we've covered the basic info, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the appearance. All right, so first we'll go over the appearance. So the PG5 released late January, and right off the bat, the most obvious change from the 4 to the 5 model is that they got rid of the zipper that ran up the middle of the shoe. And although it was kind of a cool concept, I wasn't really surprised to see it go, because when I got the PG4 in and I saw the zipper, I couldn't decide if I wanted to go full zip, but then Paul George himself normally did it like a quarter zip and stuff like that. So, having no zipper will eliminate that issue. So they are back to the typical no zip look on these shoes. And I don't know about you guys, but first glance, these reminded me of a few different shoes, like the Air Jordan 7, or they have a little bit of a Puma RS X3 vibe. And this may just be me, it may be a stretch even, but they almost resemble like the Nike Free Run 5.0 with like the high arch heel and, the bumps on the side. But, that one might be just me. But, as for the appearance, like I was saying, they definitely got back to the basics with this PG5 model. And that could actually have a lot to do with Paul George himself, and where he is at. Because for those who don't follow the NBA closely, PG kind of fell apart in the playoffs last year, and he ended up getting upset in only the second round whenever their team had definite title aspirations. And Paul talked a lot about how he was going to come back stronger and, more focused. So, maybe eliminating some of the extra noise on these shoes could be a part of that. But that's more me just trying to speculate on that, though. But now for a few things on this that I did like. The PG logo on the bottom looks pretty clean, and it also shows up near the laces and on the tongue faintly. And as far as player logos go, I personally think George has a pretty sweet one. And there's also some orange stitching paired with the Nike logo that shows up on the toe that does give these a nice touch for the basic colorway. And the Air shows up on the side, similar to the PG4, but this was a pretty simple colorway, so we will have to wait for more to launch to get a better look at what Nike can do and plans to do with these. But overall, these do look really nice in hand. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the materials and more of how these hold up from a performance standpoint. All right, so for the last half of this review, I'll go ahead and hit on the materials, the comfort, the traction, basically just the performance side of things. So for some of the materials at play, these do have a Nylon midsole, which holds up just fine. And the upper is actually made out of textile and synthetics, which fall more in line with like the third model and, even more of the first and second model than the previous fourth model. And these materials don't feel what you would call maybe high class or top tier. It's kind of a fancier way to say they're more on the cheaper side. And on that upper here, there are going to be some peaks on the side, which will be good to help hold your foot in place and keep your foot from sliding side to side outside of the shoe. And the piece that runs along the front of the outer on the shoe that looks like leather right over here, that is unfortunately not. It's actually called Fuse, so that was a little bit of a letdown, and these do feature a dual density insole that is pretty thick if you take it out and look at it. But these did retain the Air Strobel from the PG4, which is good to see because, simply put, it's a great feel. Like the Air Strobel feels really good to play in. And you can even see the Strobel peek through from the bottom of the shoe or from the inside directly if you just take it out of the insole of the shoe, which is always kind of fun whenever you get to take more of a like background look into the makeup of the shoe from the outside. And I'll go back to this now because these are only $110. So you are getting a really good bang for your buck with these materials and mainly the cushion. But the best feature on the PG5 is hands down the traction, because these have the same exact traction setup as the Kobe 9 model, like the exact same. So I was really pumped for these because My Kobe 9 What The is probably my favorite shoe to play in. So I was so excited, but I was also kind of surprised because they waited so long to use this on another shoe, if that was part of Nike's plan to do that. And I was mainly surprised that they decided to do it on Paul George's shoe line because it would have made more sense if it was on someone like Kyrie's shoe line just because of how close Kobe and Kyrie were. But who really knows? Well, I guess the people inside of Nike would know, but I guess I just don't know. But if you look closely at the traction, rather the bottom of the shoe, it resembles a footprint, which I thought was a pretty cool touch. And this traction holds up really well for everything, multi-directional cuts and all of that. But to finish off with the fit, these do run true to size, which I'm glad that Nike made that adjustment because the PG4 definitely were running really small. And although the shoe line does tend to squeeze your foot a little bit and run a little bit narrow, these do have a much wider fit to them. And even with the cushion being pretty quality, still expect some minimal break-in time on these PG5 model. All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap up our unboxing and performance review for the Nike PG5. And thanks for taking some time out to watch. Be sure to click the link in our bio, and from there you can find our shoes that are available for sale on our website. And you can also head over to our social media to stay informed on upcoming sneaker releases. And just feel free to leave a comment below and let us know, if you liked the video, or let us know any other shoes you may want us to check out. But until next episode, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.